So what we're going to do today is we're going to draw on top of our painting with a different material other than paint. So we're going to draw some shapes and whatever we want. We can shade on top of it. We can do whatever kind of comes to mind and whatever feels right. Once we're finished with the drawing, we're going to cut it up again. We're going to recollage it. Cut it up, and then we're going to get a new piece of paper. You can, if I've given you more than one piece of the watercolor paper, you can re-glue it on that watercolor paper, or you can just use the drawing paper. It's fine too, because this is still going to be on there. So when we paint on top of it again, it's not going to matter what this is, okay? So what are the materials that I can draw with? Well, it depends on what you have at home, but the material that I've given you, so I know you have, are your charcoal sticks, your drawing pencils, which you can use if you want to. They might not show up very well, but they might add kind of a nice like lead sort of sheen to your drawing if you're looking at it up close. And then any other drawing material you might have at home, even down to like crayons, if you wanted to use crayons. I'm going to use these oil pastels that I have in the classroom because they're really thick and they're kind of painterly. So I'm going to kind of experiment with those. You can use a Sharpie. You can use markers if you have markers. Really anything that you have that you can draw with is open game. Colored pencils, anything. Okay, so I don't have a rule for this other than I just want you to continue to layer. It looks like I chose a color scheme of warm colors here, so I might want to go on top of it with something that's very different so I can kind of see the difference. So I've got this green oil pastel, and I'm just going to start to go in there and add some color. I'm still kind of focused on asymmetrical balance. Did I have a question?
Morgan.
Oh, someone's got their mic on and they're calling their dog, I think. Or their pet, a pet named Morgan. So now I'm going in and I'm just kind of like spreading this green around. Just using my instincts to tell me where to put it. Let me zoom in a little bit tighter here. Sort of following the lines that I already have, and maybe filling in shapes, creating other shapes on top of the shapes, creating other paths of line to take my eye through the composition. And then I'm going to switch to, I don't know, maybe a darker green. So looks like I'm putting cool colors on top of warm colors. It's a very rainbowy effect right now. And this is a kind of a process of letting go, right? Because at some stage in your artwork, you're going to be like, oh, I really love it the way it is. And then Miss Greninger comes along and tells me I have to cut it up. I know it's a leap of faith. Trust me, I know that it's hard sometimes to continue to go when you feel like it's done, but sort of a challenge for you to see if you can continue to work on it and then maybe even like it more when you're done. So it's up to you how long you want to work on this. I wouldn't cover up everything, right? You don't want it to be all covered up. You want to see elements of what you have underneath still. And you can mix your media. Like I don't have to use these oil pastels for the whole thing. I can go in with a Sharpie if I want to, and I don't know, maybe add some details, like some really nice thick black lines in certain areas might be fun right over that paint. I can't put the Sharpie over the oil pastel because it will kind of muddy the Sharpie, but I can draw over the paint, I can draw over the collages. So you'll see when we get to the stage where we cut this up again that we're going to have some opportunity to give this a little bit more negative space, because right now it's getting pretty full. A lot of stuff going on here. It's like we've created a palette of textures and colors and line and basically all the elements of art are in here. Okay, so I'm going to leave it up to you. You can work on it as long as you want to. I might do a little fun kind of like more organic, quick line with my charcoal. All right, so now I'm going to take my scissors, and this is also in